Dude, that Chatter you were looking for, the Funko Chatter?
Yeah.
Guy, he I didn't know he was a Walmart exclusive.
Yeah, he is.
And the fact that you found him in like such good condition.
Wait a minute. You bought it?
There was 2. I bought 1. It was still there. I went there today and they still had the one.
What do you mean? I had somebody go the other day, went to that Walmart. They were like, oh no, we couldn't find it.
Because they're not me, Eugene.
Where'd you put it? Where is it?
It was just there. It was just there. It was like in the.
Which one?
So it's near the one near Eastern Hills.
The one on Transit.
It's so they keep the collectibles like the Funkos and shit near the movies where the movies are. So it was like right. Target. Yeah, it was like right where I left it pretty much on Tuesday. So
no shit.
Yeah. I didn't see the Child's Play one.
I guess Kat's gonna have to wait tonight for some booty because I'm going to fucking Walmart to pick up a pop.
Don't you hate that when like
I kind of like it. Like I know it's there, and I'm gonna go fucking get it. That was me trying to get that Candyman figure the other night. Nicole and I drove all the way out to fucking Lancaster to get it. I called there, so
they had it at the FYE at the Galleria.
Dude, that's where I found 4 of them.
Yeah, that was you guys told me that. Well, number one, you didn't tell me at all. He told me days afterwards.
The other day, like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I had no idea it was there. Like I was calling around. I actually called that at the Galleria, the FYE. I called them and they said they didn't have any. But I feel like I can never trust. No,
you can't trust anybody
on the phone because I knew for a fact a buddy of mine who came to Terrors went to that Target in Lancaster, sent me pictures. They got 2 of these here. A few days later, I called that Target and say, "Hey, do you still have the Candyman?" They were like, "We never had it." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I called my buddy back. I'm like, "If you live near there, can you go check to see if they're still there for me?" Yeah. And because people are good like that, he went and looked. They still had them there. Drove out all the way the fuck out to Lancaster and grabbed them. It was worth it, but
yeah.
It's one of those where it's like the thrill of the hunt, but at the same time you're like, God damn, this is Walmart.
You feel like I got to drive all the way the fuck out to Eastern Hills now.
Yeah,
to get this Funko.
I mean, which is what I'm going to do now.
And then when you get you're like, awesome, I got it.
It's on the shelf. It feels good, man.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse though than from somebody giving you a heads up that the figure you're looking for is at a certain store, and you go there and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I went to FYE a couple of days ago, like I said, and literally they had a Pamela Voorhees figure.
Oh, okay.
From NECA.
Yeah,
and it was from part 3.
Oh, I think I've seen
where she was dead, and she's the one that comes out of the fucking water, and literally I was like, I need to pick that up. But then I walked around to pick up a Pop Funko. I came right back to grab it. Was gone.
No.
Gone. And what's behind it? 5 Candyman figures.
Are you crazy? Come on, man.
5 Candyman.
It's so funny that you were like, they were down to 2, and I was like, dude, I saw 4 at the Walden Galleria. I feel so bad that you drove out to
they must have just got the shipment or something, or I don't know. But it was, FYE would have been already closed by the time because we drove out to fucking Lancaster. It was like 10 o'clock at night because I needed to have that fucking figure, man.
See,
does it ever keep you up at night? Because I feel like
sometimes, sometimes I get a little anxious, like, oh, hopefully I, get out there tomorrow. I was
beating myself up about the Pamela Voorhees figure all night. Sucked.
I mean, I have seen that one a lot. I don't know.
Really?
If it's the one you're talking about, I've definitely seen it at the FYE at the Boulevard. Yeah, I've seen that one at the Boulevard for sure.
Huh. Right.
Dude, I get stuff from Japan. And I had to go and get like there's some Revlotech figures for Ninja Turtles, and they for some reason they had them everywhere, and then they got rid of them. Or people just started gobbling them up. And I'm like, why are they all disappearing all of a sudden? I had to track down 2 were in Japan and 1 was in Switzerland to get it. And then I had one dude that got it from Japan in New York City, and I got it. And the funny part was, the 2 from Japan, 1 from Japan got here before the first one I ordered got here before the last one I ordered.
Wow.
It was all like whack.
That's insane.
But that's the type of shit just staying up at night oh my God, where are they? Why are people gobbling them up? I don't understand this. And that dude, did you guys end up seeing that Super Shredder?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Dude, and then the Casey Jones and Raph in the Incognito.
Delicious.
But they're Walmart exclusives. Oh, fucking
delicious.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Temporary Terror Trio. I know. Find a new title, Eugene. Find a new name, Eugene. Terror Trio, it's lame, Eugene. I know. It's going to happen. But we got a brand new episode. We got returning guests on as is, and I can't even think right now because I just finished working out. But two of our more popular guest hosts.
Oh, I like that. That's how you get me on.
Yeah. Well, you guys recognize the voice. We got Thursday Night Terror's own and Terror Trio's love child.
I love it.
Peter Vullo.
Hey.
And also Dan.
Hey,
Dan.
how's it going?
Dan.
Well, Dan's also Thursday.
Yeah, the graphic artist extraordinaire.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's me.
So, guys, I'm excited to have you guys on back again.
It's a pleasure to be here,
Yes,
Eugene.
thank you so much. Super stoked.
Yes. And there's three of us.
Get your surfboard, Eugene.
Hey, hang 10. This guy.
Super stoked, man.
Yeah. You know what?
It's some
You
waves,
can
man.
check your bad attitude at the door. How's that?
I know.
My bad attitude is one of my endearing qualities.
Well, although I mean, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but Thursday Night Terrors, I think for the first time ever, the Thursday Night Terrors crew or family saw Sassy PV.
Right?
I don't know if I was
Right?
sassy.
That shit was funny.
Dude, I had so many people like, oh, no jokes in the intro? No jokes? What's going on? And then you came out on fire.
Fucking hot
during the raffle, dude.
Oh my god! Like most of the time, you're a little salty. You keep throwing your digs during the raffle, but this time, holy fuck! Cat was even like, I think it's because he didn't do his corny jokes beforehand.
Yeah, I was all loaded up, like I didn't have the release, so I was just like,
oh man.
No, but I feel like the fucking Oscars thing, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that was your trigger.
It gets me.
That was your trigger.
That was a fucking trigger and a half, man.
Whew.
That was so funny.
You know, I thought I was losing the audience a little bit there, but then I was like, but have any of the movies you actually love ever won an award? No. I mean, all the shit that we scream for Terrors over almost 4 years now, I can't think of one right off the bat that has won an Academy Award. I'm sure there is one if I dug, but right off the bat, I can't think of one. You know, we're talking like classics, you know, They Live, The Thing, you know, fucking Candyman, you know what I mean?
Did American Werewolf in London win for special effects?
Sure. Yeah. Right. So yeah, at least one out of,
but that was an offshoot
50, 60 movies.
I mean, is that really?
I count it.
You'll count it? Okay.
I count it.
There you go.
It's in there. There we go.
Count
so
it.
You got one. You got one.
Terror's crew was there.
Oh man,
David Naughton was there. So
when I was like, it just won an Oscar, I gotta go, and ran. It's great.
I
man.
laughed hard. Like the other time, the previous time that I laughed that hard was the Lost Boys screening, and you said something about Nanook being dead. You're booing death.
Yeah.
Like, sorry guys, the dog didn't live for 25 years.
That dog is definitely dead.
Booing death. Oh my god, I lost it. Oh, yeah, you were on fucking fire.
Yeah.
Well, like that's because none of that shit I ever like plan. I feel like, of course, that's the stuff that people find funny. It's not when I try to write a stupid joke. It's like just when I'm like, whatever pops up, bullshit that I think of. So it's just funny, man. But I appreciate it. It was good, man.
Yeah. You gotta if Terror's never works out, you got a brilliant career in stand-up comedy.
Yeah, sure, yeah. There's be a lot of angry people asking for refunds.
Niche audience.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start off with the news. Actually, I got quite a bit of news to talk about. I got about 4 or 5 pieces. We'll start off with, now, you saw The Lighthouse, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. Dan,
I did not.
You did not. Okay, well, Robert Eggers, The Witch and The Lighthouse, is set to direct The Northman. It's described as a Viking revenge saga set in Iceland.
Okay.
At the turn of the 10th century. So the actors that are in talks to star include Nicole Kidman, Alexander Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy from The Witch, Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise, and Willem Dafoe from The Lighthouse.
That's a pretty great cast.
Yeah.
Very diverse, which is cool.
You're saying they were Hitler had in mind? All of them?
What'd you say?
Amazing.
They're all what Hitler had in mind.
Yeah, well, Nicole Kidman is from outer space, so it should definitely counts as somewhat diverse. She's clearly an alien.
Oh,
Come on.
she is looking crazy though.
Come on. Batman Forever. She was great.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean, she was good in Aquaman.
Yeah. I like
Played,
her. in
Aquaman's mom.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, what?
One.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it was kind of a double whammy. Not only was it a comic book movie, but it was also directed by James Wan. So
There you go.
you know,
Don't you remember? We already established that
Oh, yeah.
PV is a snob.
Yeah.
oh my. After my tirade about like fuck what the Oscars tell you to watch what you love. Now I'm a movie snob.
Yeah. This guy.
No.
If you, just bring your nose down just a little
Just
bit.
a little bit.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
Eggers is actually reteaming with a cinematographer. Let me see if I get the name right. Jaron Bloschke. He stated that this movie, it's going to be dark and unusually violent.
Ooh.
Which I'm a little.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by that.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
He said violent. I like that.
Yes. So he also stated that he thinks Eggers feels a responsibility to do a trilogy. So Eggers stated that The Witch and The Lighthouse are me trying to commune with folk culture of my past and me and my brother's take on New England folk tales. So he's saying that spiritually, The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northmen are going to be like a spiritual trilogy of sorts.
Hey, I'm excited, man.
I like when they do that
Stoked.
stuff in
Yeah.
Japan because they do like what the killer. I can never pronounce it. The Itchy
Itchy the Killer.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Takashi.
Yeah,
Miike.
yeah, and he has this like trilogy of films and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love that stuff because you like Old Boy and all that stuff. You kinda like,
Yeah.
you know. That movie.
Takashi.
Yeah,
man.
that movie fucked me up.
He's the one that directed that imprint that you were talking
Yes.
about.
Oh, that episode. Yeah,
that episode of, Masters of
dude.
Yeah,
Horror.
Oh,
I have
my
to see that, man. I have to watch
Yeah.
that. I haven't seen
You
that
hyped
imprint.
it up. You hyped up a lot of that stuff that I was like, I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah, me too. Well, so I was listening to.
Up episode.
So Mick Garris has got a podcast called Postmortem, and he I think somebody asked him. They do like a Q&A show. They answer internet questions, and somebody asked him about the imprint and stuff. So it was interesting to hear your take on the show, and then hear the Mick Garris talk about what it was like with Takashi Miike or whatever making that. So it was very interesting.
I was super excited when the show originally aired. I think it aired on Showtime, and his episode was one I was most looking forward to. And then when I heard on the internet that they banned the episode, and they were like, "We're not going to show it because it's just so fucked up." I'm like, Ryan,
It just makes you want to see it more.
It made me want to see it more. So then when they released all the episodes, because I think it wasn't as popular, because I don't think it got a second season, but it ended up just doing the first season. And just so they can make their money back, they ended up, instead of releasing the whole series on one DVD set, they sold individual DVDs of each episode. So the imprint, episode came out and was released, and of course had the band sticker on it.
I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't want to do a too quick of a tangent, but my younger sister Bianca, recently watched the movie Green Inferno, the Eli Roth movie.
Yep.
And she texted me about it, and she was like, "What the fuck was that?" And so I did this whole borderline TED talk about the
Text?
Yeah. In like about like in the 70s and 80s, cannibal films were popular, especially with Italian filmmakers. Blah blah blah. Which you really the crown jewel is Cannibal Holocaust, and told her all about the director had to go to court, blah blah blah, the animal killings, and so it was a whole thing. But she got me rolling, and I was like, if you want to see the cannibal film, that's the one.
Yeah.
But it was just funny that Green Inferno. It seems like a fucking Disney movie compared to fucking Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
One of the first found footage films. But okay, that was the end of my tangent.
Now, I don't know if you guys, I've been talking about it actually on Geeks That Lift. I've been also talking about it on here. But are you guys fans at all of Little Shop of Horrors?
I love the 80s movie for sure.
Yeah. Well, they're making a remake.
Yes.
They're doing a remake. They already have Taron Egerton, the guy from the Kingsman movies.
And the Elton John movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
He's in it. Scarlett Johansson is in it now also.
Who's she?
She I think she's gonna be Audrey.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they just announced that Chris Evans is in talks to play the evil dentist.
Yeah.
Really?
Scrivello. Yeah.
Oh,
which was played
that's
by
good. That's good.
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Movie.
That's going to be kind of hard.
Yeah.
I think, but I mean, I look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm down for that, man. I generally hate musicals, but if it's a horror related one, I'm into it. I like Little Shop of Horrors is definitely one of my favorites.
Little Shop of Horrors was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in like what they're gonna do as far as the monster.
They gotta go practical. They gotta go practical.
Because if they don't go because I mean, like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but a lot of theaters do that, and like
I've seen it locally, yeah.
And like locally, they do it a lot, and like some of the puppeteers here like put some of that stuff like to shame, like the CGI shit.
Yeah,
that I'm like, you know, like there's enough talent out there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like even some of the guys that are doing that new the Jim Carrey like Swazzle puppet studio, they're doing that. Jim Carrey's got that new show on Showtime. Yes, and they're like they do all the live puppets and all that stuff, and I feel like those are the guys you want doing this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the one where you play as the sort of Mr. Rogers type?
Yeah,
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And I feel like that's, I mean, like, this is just going to be, like, even the guy that did Swamp Thing, you know, if they got something like that, that'd be awesome. But fingers crossed.
Have either of you seen the original Little Shop with Jack Nicholson? Yeah, I think that, the Foreman. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
It's like it wants to be like, it's almost like a serious movie.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And then it didn't gain popularity till later.
The remake, right?
It became a musical first, a stage play first, and then they added the music and stuff, and then they made the 1986 version.
And that's what made it popular.
Yeah. The original is like public domain, so you can get it like super cheapy anywhere. You know,
cool. You see a super young Jack Nicholson.
That's weird. That's got to be so weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Like he, like an Easy Rider, younger or like younger
than that.
Younger
than that.
Like
yeah,
he's probably like in his 20s.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Still had hair.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. That's a picture of what he looks like now. Woof. That fucking dude, man. He retired from acting. I didn't know he retired from acting.
I didn't know that.
Like he went the way like of Sean Connery and a couple like Gene Hackman, a couple other actors out there. They're just retired.
Sure.
Yeah, he retired from acting too.
No shit.
Yeah, I think the last thing I remember seeing of him was fucking Anger Management with Adam Sandler.
Oh wow, been that long.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in anything else after that.
I mean, his career is solidified, Jack Nicholson. I mean, you know, I mean, why really do it if you're only going to be, you're never going to reach the heights that you reached in your prime. Yeah. It's like, you know, why don't you just relax, man? Eat your fucking sandwiches, go watch a basketball game, man.
Watch his fucking
who cares, you know?
He loves that shit. But all right, well, let's see.
When he does a wine commercial like Orson Welles, that's when.
I think he was hurt. I think he was hurting for money, maybe. I think he was hurting for money.
That's when you know he made it.
That's when you know he made it.
Are you guys fans, or have you guys seen the movie Orphan?
I haven't seen it, but I know the twist. So now I don't have to see it because they ruined the twist.
You can tell me the twist if you want.
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
Because there's an Orphan sequel in the works.
Yes.
So Orphan was a 2009 movie. It starred Isabel Fuhrman as Esther, a 9-year-old girl adopted by a family who doesn't turn out to be who she claims to be. So Esther is really a 33-year-old woman.
There you go. That's the twist.
Clamor, who has hypopituitarism.
Nailed it.
I fucked that up.
No, you didn't.
It sounds like you were saying it backwards.
Yeah. Oh no, the gates of hell have opened.
Yeah.
It's a rare hormonal disorder that stunted her physical growth and caused proportional dwarfism. And she spent the most of her life posing as a little girl. Now, the prequel is going to be called Esther. It's going to be directed by William Brent Bell, who's actually the guy that directed The Boy 2.
Brahms.
Theaters right now. So in the new movie, Lena orchestrates a brilliant escape from a Russian psychiatric facility and travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. Then she ends up getting adopted.
Anastasia? Is that?
It's almost like an Anastasia.
Wow, okay.
She ends up getting adopted by a family, and then I guess the mother of the family is onto her and protects her family at all costs or some shit like that. I remember seeing the first movie. I actually liked the first movie.
Yeah.
The twist was kind of fucked up. Like there's a scene in the movie where Esther is like trying to like seduce the dad. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? And then she ends up becoming like a homicidal maniac and just goes to fucking town on killing people. And then there's a scene where she takes off because she wears like a choker and she takes off the choker and finds out that she has like scars and shit on her neck.
Interesting.
From like fights or whatever, and then she has like fake teeth too. So she takes out her fake teeth, and she has like rotted like black and green teeth. Yeah, it's fucking
damn.
crazy.
I wish I had known the twist because I would have enjoyed that.
Neat. It was a neat twist.
Because speaking of the boy, like. Someone had spoiled that twist for me, and I had watched the movie anyway, and thought like, oh man, had I not known the twist was coming, this would have been pretty cool. You know what I mean? So it's kind of sucks when that happens, but you know,
I mean, I'm curious about this, so we'll see. It was kind of like also, but I hate it when movies do something. You know, you get a decent first movie that shouldn't have a second movie.
No, it does make sense. Yeah.
Right. Kind of like Sinister.
Yeah.
You guys see Sinister?
Yeah.
Where it had that neat twist, and then they came out with Sinister 2, and you're like, all right, what's the point? Fuck, man.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen Sinister 1, and then you hear like Sinister 2's coming out, you're like, well,
wait, there was a Sinister 2?
Wait, like what?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah. And
I checked out.
With the fucking kids.
I checked out after the first Sinister, after the first Insidious, or in The Conjuring. Wait, no, I was thinking of The Conjuring.
See, dude, that's the hard part. Like, they're all
I
that
checked
stuff
out.
that, like,
all the same now.
And you, like, you keep like,
I haven't watched a single one since the first Conjuring, and you know, I'm out, man.
But the second one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I got a couple of jumps out of it, but I mean, like, few and far between.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Brahms the Boy 2, that's doing horribly.
See, I don't know. It seems like it's been kind of rough in the beginning of 2020 for these horror movies, man.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Fucking what is it? The Turning did horrible. Brahms,
the
Fantasy
Grudge,
Island,
The Grudge,
The Grudge,
Gretel and Hansel.
Did it do bad?
I don't know if it made a ton of money. It wasn't.
Didn't make its
but
money back.
yeah.
Did it?
I'm not sure. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, everything's pretty much been a dud.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
because you're not hearing about anything that's like.
because Gretel and Hansel was actually visually good, but story-wise sucked.
You're
Isn't that right,
baiting
Peter?
me. You're baiting me.
Isn't that right, Peter?
Oh, it's going to be one of the highlights of 2020. Incredible.
That is not saying a lot.
It's fucking February.
I know.
Wow, this guy. You need to, you know,
I'm like Chris Farley. I've been in the basement drinking coffee for 4 hours, and they just let me up.
in anticipation.
yeah.
Recording at 7.
Yeah, I've been just
Drink this.
just wolfing down no-dos, smoking cigarettes.
So I wrote these notes down for this piece of news before everything popped off. And I know you guys have heard about it because you sent me a text about it.
Oh, yes.
Candyman poster dropped.
Hey.
For the remake. I put down on my notes, trailers right around the corner, but the movie's scheduled to be released on June 12th. The rumor was that the trailer was gonna debut before The Invisible Man this weekend.
Hey, that's what I have in my notes.
Oh.
There we go.
So is it?
And yeah,
That's what Jordan Peele said Thursday.
Find out it's dropping on Thursday for sure.
It is okay.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you noticed. Did you watch the teaser?
I did, yes.
The 6-second teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser?
Yeah.
It's real fast.
It doesn't give anything away. Well, there's two. There's a bunch of the characters saying Candyman, and then there's one where you see the hook
and
thing.
then the girl screaming.
Yeah.
And then you hear Candyman saying, "Be my victim."
Be my victim. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: when Tony Todd was cast, the rumor going around was that he was going to play Candyman. We have I get made fun of for mentioning his name almost every episode. Both podcasts. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Have you noticed? Did you notice it was his voice?
Well, no. Well, they showed a clip of him, and he was just he looked like a regular ass dude in the teaser. He was, unless I'm mistaken, that was definitely the dude from Watchmen, and he was just he looked like a regular dude.
You know what?
In that teaser.
You know what?
And also Virginia Madsen was in that. Helen from the original movie was also one of the characters saying Candyman in this teaser thing. So I'm thinking now it's probably just a straight up sequel at this point. I mean, because you look at the poster, the font is exactly the same from the original movie, and it's
that is not. That is theirs, like for that one.
It's not the same for 2.
Is there a 4th? No, but
No,
2 and
there's
3,
just
it's
3,
totally different.
Yeah. Well, specific. So all this Candyman merch coming out, it's specifically for Candyman 2 Farewell to the Flesh because it's a rights thing.
Yep.
So
don't you hate that shit?
yeah.
Like with all the Hellraiser shit that's coming.
Yeah, it's
out
all
now.
part 3. It's all fucking part 3.
Yep.
But
That sucks.
so I mean, I don't know how they managed to do it, but this is definitely supposed to make us think of this is part 1 connected to the original film. You know what I
See,
mean?
like as much shit as the community gives to Halloween, the insert, the new one, the 2018.
Yeah.
2018.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, me too. I love that movie. Was fucking
that
awesome.
idea, and I hope that Jordan Peele is like. I'm hoping that he's going down that road of like. That
would be cool.
Let's do it. This
It looks
way.
like it. It looks like it.
Well, everything that we've been hearing and reading about it is Jordan Peele has been saying that it's a spiritual sequel
Nice.
to the movie. But I mean, they're going back to the same neighborhood
Yeah.
where the original movie took place.
Fantastic.
You know, and
Cabrini Green, baby.
yeah, and then they're bringing Tony Todd back. Like Virginia Madsen, I didn't know she was going to be in it. Nobody.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
So
Yeah.
just seeing her in a teaser trailer, like it was just that was cool because I forgot what actress that they cast who's in it is playing Virginia Madsen's character in the new one.
Hold on. So Virginia Madsen is in the movie, but she's not playing Helen.
Correct.
What is going on with this movie? I'm
stoked.
super
Let's see what
confused.
happens.
I'm
You know what?
excited.
It's got my curiosity. I'm
definitely
stoked
got
about
mine.
it.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like Invisible Man's going to be like Meet Joe Black, where everybody's like, no, I'm going to see it just for the trailer. I don't give a fuck about this movie.
I have zero excitement for the Invisible Man. However, I think Elizabeth Moss is a very good actor, except minus all the Scientology shit from what I've heard. But she's a great actor.
She's a Scientologist?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but she's a great actor. But I'm on this role now where I've been seeing all these movies, like a lot of this new release horror, and so I just kind of want to see the Invisible Man to keep the inertia going. You know what I mean? Of like seeing all
You're
of
just
them.
rolling through.
Yeah, I'm just
2020.
fucking rolling it. You know, like us doing the like best of list and the most anticipated really got me into like, fuck yeah. Now I'm like, this is serious now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fine movie because I like. The director of the Invisible Man is the guy, who just did Upgrade or whatever, which I fucking loved.
Awesome.
Upgrade. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Good.
Modern
That's the
RoboCop.
Shutter one, right?
I don't
Is it on
think
Shudder?
so. I don't think so. It stars Logan Marshall Green, who
Oh,
looks
no, I'm
exactly
sorry.
like Tom Hardy.
Yes. That's,
But,
okay. I see the poster because it's got
yeah.
that blue and pink. like,
It's
in his
really
face.
great, dude. I think you'd love it.
That's a good movie. Yeah,
So,
and it's got a neat little twist too.
no, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, like I was saying, like I feel like a lot of people want to see this trailer. I hope they don't put it out online until like maybe. Saturday
I'm
or
honestly
something.
probably not gonna watch it after those clips that the teaser. I'm probably done. Like,
Really?
I want to see whatever they're gonna do with the Candyman, whatever Candyman looks like, whoever it is, and what he looks like. I want to see, but after that, I don't want to know anything. So I know we talk a lot about this movie's coming out, and obviously Jordan Peele's attached to it, but the director is a woman of color named Nia DaCosta, which is exciting.
Yep.
Because this is, I think this might be her first directorial feature. I'm not sure.
Is it?
It might be. I'm not sure, but this is really cool that we got. It's cool that like Jordan Peele is like making way for like new voices,
Right.
new directors. You know, having a black woman make
Absolutely.
this highly anticipated spiritual sequel or whatever. And I feel like the original Candyman tried to deal with race, but it didn't really go. I'd say all the way, but I feel like this one. This new Candyman will be able to go all the way,
So?
Well, I feel like Jordan Peele clearly, he's producing this, but his movies definitely tackle, racial issues a little more head on. You know what I mean? And what was I going to say?
It's kind of like what you said, where it's like we're getting that story, we're getting those sides.
Yeah.
So it's new for like. For a majority of the audience,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's kind of why you're seeing this, like, oh, they're ruining things. It's like, no, we're just we're finally getting that other story, that we've been like wanting to hear. Like, dude, when you put Tales from the Hood up, and it had been years since I had seen that movie, and like definitely didn't have the emotional like wherewithal to understand what I was watching. I was just like, oh, this is so scary. I don't get it. Why is it bleeding when he hits the painting? Like, I don't understand. So now seeing all this stuff, you're like, Yo, there was a lot of stuff that
I feel
missed.
like Tales from the Hood is definitely something we're going to tackle later on, right?
We're
But
gonna talk about that.
I think it's exciting that Jordan Peele is kind of, like you said, opening up that and just allowing for more of those. 'Cause, I mean, like, I want it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I know from what I've read regarding this new Candyman, it makes sure to say that Cabrini Green is now gentrified.
Yes.
Yo.
Yeah. So that's I mean, I'm into that angle already. You know what I mean? I wonder what they're going to do with the score. You know, but
that was.
I mean, that's Philip Glass. I mean. Fuck it, maybe at least use part of the original theme to put in there. You know, sometimes you know how you fucking nerds watch your Star Wars and one of the original theme comes in. You're like, oh my god, they used the original theme. I heard it. That's how I feel about like Candyman.
Easily, you could.
Am I wrong?
No,
you don't get excited when the fucking Avengers theme pops up and whatever fucking nerdgasm you're watching.
Talked about the new Halloween and how John Carpenter got his son to help him do the new score. You didn't have to take the dig. That was a cheap shot. That was a cheap shot.
That's a sassy PV moment right there.
This guy.
Look,
Jesus Christ.
that was a new score from John Carpenter. So, I mean, that's the original, the OG doing it. That's the OG doing it. It's not comparable to fucking, you know, feeding, the fan service of like, here's the theme.
Dude, and when you listen to the score,
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World either.
John Williams.
Part 2 sucked.
Dude, John Williams is in the house right here, dropping his score. Listen to that.
Oh no, I dropped my Mountain Dew. I'm so excited. I dropped my Mountain Dew.
Dude, I didn't know.
God. Wait, but how'd you not like part 2? Part 2?
Well, because it was like two separate movies. I liked the part that took place on the
horror movie.
Oh, I didn't like it. So in the context, if I want to see dinosaurs, I don't want to see one dinosaur in a haunted house movie. I want to see those fuckers running around on the island, killing people, wrecking shit.
Right.
It's like, why are you going to give... I want to see fucking dinosaurs. I don't want to see some weird freak show hanging out in a haunted house. One dinosaur. Like, give me the multitudes, man.
But you get the multitudes. And then
and then
you're obviously not going to see the next one then.
No, I will. I certainly will. I mean, I really like Jurassic World, but then that part 2 is like two separate movies. You have the whole chunk that's on the island, and then the shit that turns into a fucking James Wan movie.
Wow. Dude.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
This guy.
All right.
Got them Dollar General. Those Dollar General energy drinks.
That's what it was.
Yo, to get me fucking amped up, man. I ripped through them, man. Yeah, man. Clearly.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Fucking meth or crack or some shit in it.
Oh my god.
Well, speaking of movies, I mean that's all the news that I got. What do you want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the travesty of a fucking movie?
Oh, I cannot wait to hear
this.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what? Take it away. You know what? Well, I'll set it up.
Yes, please.
PV and I had a little mandate.
Wonderful.
On Saturday. Dan was supposed to come, but he was too busy.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of terrorist work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I was
fine.
working on terrorist
He was
stuff.
doing the Lord's work.
The Dark Lord. The Dark Lord.
Dark Lord. So we went and caught a screening of The Lodge. Now, I was excited to go see this movie because, you know, it was one of these movies that got touted as one of the best horror movies of 2019, the scariest movie of 2019. And it's only playing in one theater here in Buffalo, New York. It was the AMC downtown, the Market Arcade Theater. So PV got a hold of me. He was like, hey, you want to check it out? I was like, yeah, sure. So we go to see this movie. Mind you, there was no buffer seat.
No, I was just gonna say that when you tossed it over to me, Eugene did not need a buffer seat,
I don't need
a space between us.
I don't need, why would I need a buffer seat?
People do that, man. I have friends that that they need a space. If they go with another guy, they need a space between them, which is weird. Yeah, or in case you catch the gay or something, like. But I think it's a weird thing, man. Dude, I think it's a weird thing.
Like, that I feel like is more insecure.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
They said if they get close enough, somebody will pop a boner and they'll be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. Well, I could have liked this.
Yeah, this isn't bio class. We're not in high school. It's not just gonna go off on its own.
Well, and clearly, and Eugene and I did whisper throughout it, little things. So I mean, if we had a seat between us, it'd be impossible.
You would have been
like, "Hey, did you see that scene?"
Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen? I don't know. Pass the coke.
Yeah. Doing fucking commercials now.
But yeah, I mean, we went in and we watched the movie. we did a little 5-second review of it.
It was tough,
Check
man.
it out on the Facebook Instagram page. All right, well, I know what you thought of the movie, but nobody here knows what you thought of the movie. So take it away, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to quickly say that, Eugene, I'm proud that we were able to bridge the gap, from us just knowing each other from Terrors and Terror Trio. It's like it was just me and Eugene, there was nothing else. And because I remember one time we were talking on the show before and you're like, you didn't think we'd be friends without Terrors, just because we're different people. But I think the Lodge proved the point that we can make this work. We can make this work.
It's funny because after the movie, Kat asked me, she goes, "How was your man date?" I was like, "It was good."
Yeah, it was great.
Actually,
It was good.
She goes, "I saw your post." She goes, "Now it's solidified." She goes, "You and Peter are friends."
There we go. Yeah. I'm like, wait, are you me and Eugene buds now?
You're right.
Nice.
You're right.
Every other week, you guys are going to be going out.
That's it.
I love it. So the Lodge, man, fuck that. Fuck that. Okay.
Sorry,
Now,
Pat.
so I backed away. So I really want to give like some genuine critiques because I feel like, me just shitting on it doesn't do any good. So I think the movie started out good. I think what happened in the beginning was like how you start a movie. You know what I mean? You hook people in. This involves Alicia Silverstone, which was kind of distracting because we didn't know. I didn't know she was going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then
we're going to spoil it though. Right?
No, I mean I wasn't going to spoil it. I mean if you want to, it's up to Dan.
No, I think you guys should.
Okay,
because if you think it's shit, then I think you should spoil it.
Okay, so we should just let people know we will spoil the Lodge.
Oh, yeah,
beyond this point, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil the Lodge beyond this point. Do you want to spoil it? Or do you want me to continue?
I want to talk about real quick.
Sure.
I was super surprised that Alicia Silverstone was in it.
Me too. I didn't. I was like, is that
more
her?
surprised at how she looked.
Yeah.
She had mom bod to the max. Like if you no longer clueless Alicia Silverstone or Batgirl Alicia Silverstone. Like this is like soccer mom Alicia Silverstone.
But I think that could have been part of her character, though, to look like an exhausted divorcee and mom.
But it's one of those like when there's so much time in between, like when you've seen them, to like that, then you just the realization of like, okay, wow, because you have this like mental imprint of like what they look like, and then all of a sudden you're like,
we expect them. We expect them to stay like ageless, ageless and timeless. You know what I mean?
Okay, like she's let herself. It's more like, oh shit,
yeah, time is passing us.
Oh wow, she got older. Like,
they showed her, and like I whispered over to PV here. I was like, "Is that Alicia Silverstone?"
That was us the whole movie. Like,
that's awesome.
I was like, "Is that Alicia?"
Yeah.
No.
And then the whole time I was like, we thought that was the dude from The Walking Dead. I was like, that dude looks a lot like the
Ross Mark.
I'm like, that fucking guy looks a lot like Walking Dead guy, but it wasn't. But okay, so Alicia Silverstone's character. This is the beginning.
Yep.
You want to do the honors of the spoiler? Okay, so. Right, so now like, okay, this movie, let's see where it goes, right? So Alicia Silverstone, she's getting a divorce with her husband. They got the kids, blah, blah, blah. He's seeing a new woman. And suddenly, there's a scene of her home alone, drinking some wine at the table all by herself. Yep. And I think she takes off her necklace, right? Yep. And this is when I turn over to Eugene and I'm like, I bet she's going to kill herself. So she takes a fucking gun out of her bag, her purse, boom! Blows her fucking brains out. Blows her fucking brains out.
What?
And I think Eugene and I were sitting next to a couple baby boomers, and then me and Eugene, we were all like, "Whoa!" So like the whole audience was like, "Whoa!" It was so like, there was no fanfare about it. She just pulls out the gun, boom, just eats it.
Doesn't even think about it.
Yeah,
wow,
just eats it. And I'm like, well, that's the end of fucking. Why'd you give Alicia Silverstone to do this fucking movie?
That's why you put the name on the poster.
So I'm expecting. Well, okay, so this movie's gonna have this kind of energy. You know what I mean? We're doing this shit. But it did not keep that energy, and it becomes just. I don't know if everybody said this part, but it's like straight up misery porn. It's like something I do not like, that the aspects of modern horror where in order for a horror movie to be a quote unquote good or like elevated or high art, it has to be miserable. It has to be people just fucking their lives being destroyed and miserable and sad and bleak and dark. And a lot of that really just is like, oh my God, horror doesn't have to always be like this. I feel like this was very reminiscent of Hereditary, in the way. I did not. This movie, The Lodge, is like if somebody flushed the Hereditary down the toilet and then they try to like fish it out. They try to fish out the lodge.
Snake it out.
They try to snake it out. They try to snake Hereditary out of the toilet, right? And they just try to blow dry it, maybe hang dry it, and then this is The Lodge, you know what I mean?
Split second, I thought you said they were going to flush it out of the toilet and blow it.
Yeah, but, I mean, that might have made a better movie. So there were some cool parts in the beginning of the movie where one of the stars is this actress named Riley Keough. Mm-hmm. All right, and I didn't know this until afterwards, Eugene, but she's Elvis's granddaughter.
Get the fuck out of here.
Lisa Marie's daughter. Lisa Marie and Elvis.
Shit.
I did not know that. Riley Keough. Yeah. So the dad and the two kids. So one of the kids in this movie, there's a son and a daughter, and the son is the stuttering kid from It.
Yep.
Chapter 1, I forget his name, but anyway, so Riley Keough plays the new wife, the stepmom, and they take. They make it seem so they let us know that her character was in like a Heaven's Gate type cult, right? And I thought, like, oh, cool, I love this like cult element, right? Because they showed like footage. She filmed this footage of all the cult members like dead, and they have these purple blankets and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, this might have some interesting elements. Yeah, the duct tape with sin on it, like, oh, film class 101, you fucking douche. But anyway. Yeah, so it's all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm in it, what's going on, some of the cinematography is cool, it looks like it was filmed with a fisheye lens, so I'm like with it, and then the movie just drags on and on and on, and it's like, they're basically, the kids are stuck in this lodge with the stepmom, there's no power, there's no food, they can't get out, it's snowing, and that's pretty much the movie, and what, Eugene, you want to? Another thing I want to mention. It's also, it seems like whoever wrote this movie just discovered what Chekhov's gun is. The principle. And there's another fucking thing I hate. Really starting to hate is the fucking dollhouses. I do not want to go to see a new fucking horror movie and see one more goddamn dollhouse. If I have to see a fucking dollhouse, I'm gonna walk out of the fucking movie. I had to deal with that shit in Hereditary. Like, that movie was the fucking end-all and be-all of modern horror movies. And then the Creepshow did the shit with the dollhouse.
That was cool, though.
Unless the dollhouse has a specific plot point, an important plot point, to be in the movie, like somehow there's like the characters are trapped in there, or if it's like a Black Mirror type thing where they're somehow, there's an entity inside the dollhouse. But if it's just there to like look cool, I don't want to fucking see it.
Yeah.
It slows a movie down. Like, so all those dollhouse scenes in the lodge, they just showed us what was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Why am I fucking watching this?
Yeah.
It's bad. The movie feels like it's 4 hours long as it is, and I have to sit through these fucking dollhouse sequences. There's nothing in there for me to look at. There's nothing creepy or cool. It's just, here's a dollhouse.
Yeah. It set up a bunch of shit.
Who has all these fucking dollhouses?
Wasn't going to go.
Hollywood
kids, yeah, I don't know.
Hollywood's got them,
but yeah, and they're awful. But it was just so weird. Like it could have gone so many different ways, and I think I whispered over to Peter. I was like, oh, I know where this is going. And I was like, oh, they're all going to be dead, and they're haunting the lodge and all this other shit. And I think my version is way better than what happened.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred that
better. From what you like your synopsis. Yeah, that sounded a lot better.
And there was so much foreshadowing too. Like, there were cool little nods. Like you knew it was going to be like an isolation cabin fever type horror movie. The fucking the girlfriend of the dad had a dog named Grady.
The Shining.
The Grady twins. At one point they were watching The Thing on the TV. Like there were little things here and there. They're like, all right, okay, foreshadowing like what's going to happen. and just fucking, it was just like
Was it the director's first movie?
No, it's the team of directors also made a movie called Good Night Mommy, which I really liked.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Okay.
This one
just fuck the shot. There were some cool shots
Right.
in the movie. Like there was a shot in the beginning of the movie where the dad, where Alicia Silverstone's character comes to see the dad when she's dropping off the kids, and he's about to tell her that he wants to finalize the divorce because he's going to marry this other chick, and he's like putting like Alka-Seltzer in water. And then
is like a hard zoom of the Alka-Seltzer.
The Alka-Seltzer, like, bubbling up. There was also some really like cool shots. There was the one shot where she was like out looking like she was gonna go into town. Yeah. And she finds that fucking house.
Oh yeah.
Snow, like that
she sees
shot.
her dad. Yeah,
Pretty cool. Yeah. But fuck, man, it was all what it was. Not filler, but fucking word I'm looking for. It was just there was no payoff.
Yeah,
the actual quote unquote fucking twist was dumb as fuck,
and they telegraphed it from a mile away. Like you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Because they showed it in the dollhouse.
Yeah, in the fucking dollhouse for no reason. And it's like if you're going to be a slow burn, supposedly, you have to make the journey be rewarding at the end. If I'm gonna have to sit through a slow ass, dark, miserable movie, it has to be rewarding in the end. And I do definitely knock Hereditary, but at least it had a batshit ending.
It did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least it had an absolutely batshit ending, which I can appreciate.
Satisfying.
Yeah. If you're gonna have a slow burn, that shit has got to fucking have a blaze of glory at the end. This movie does not have that.
Nothing.
And I just feel it was so fucking like uninspired and like unsatisfying. There was nothing about it that I can like sink my teeth into. It felt like it was going through the motions of what a art house horror movie, an intellectual horror movie is going to go through. I didn't feel anything. I didn't care. I just wanted to kind of wrap up. Okay, let's move it. Let's move things. And also, you mentioned The Shining and The Thing. Like, part of me is also like, how fucking dare you put your movie in the same conversation as movies that you will never get close to. You know what I mean? It's cute. I mean, definitely make all the homages and stuff, the references you want, but clearly you knew that you were making an isolated, snowy horror movie like The Thing and like The Shining. So you thought like, oh, we're gonna do a modern version of this kind of stuff. Get out of here. Get out of here. And then and it's just like I said, more bang, less whimper. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. I don't want to have to. Why do I have to feel like just miserable? You know what I mean? I know there's movies that are dark, that are good, and they're affecting emotionally. But I just don't want to be like assaulted of like just characters being miserable. And why the fuck did the father in this movie, leave his kids with his girlfriend, knowing that she was in a crazy cult and had definitely some mental health issues? Why would he fucking? Why it doesn't make any sense for his character to completely desert his family alone at a lodge, and then he's gone for the whole fucking movie.
That's a plot problem.
Yeah,
that's a bad right, because like they should have established at some point a way for the audience to suspend their disbelief, that you would believe that he would be like, he needed some sort of circumstance to be like, fuck, this sucks, but I need to do this. I need to invest. Like, she has to look at them because I can't do this.
I think all he said was he had to go on a work thing or something. I don't even remember.
Work for 2 days.
But it's like, how long were they there? I mean, obviously that's part of the movie. Is the time thing is weird, but it's also the kids fucking with her.
They
so
were only there for 2 days.
But it's like, so
hard to believe that this chick went crazy in 48 hours
like this, and you don't set up the character enough to make the change believable. It just seems like it's just happening all of a sudden, and like. I never was able to get over the fact that why would a fucking dad leave his kids who, their mother killed herself 6 months ago or whatever. He knows they're in a very delicate place, and that the girlfriend is also dealing with a lot of things. Why would he just fucking dump them dump them off at the fucking cabin, and then never appear.
Like we were talking about it, and it was like the first couple of shots of the girlfriend, they didn't even show her face. Like it was just
it was like through frosted window panes, which was cool.
They showed the back of her head. I'm like, all right.
It was very ominous.
Something's gonna be weird. Then they reveal her face. I was like, all right. So,
but they never do anything cool like that again.
They didn't do anything with it. So, and then that's when it got my mind racing, and I'm like, all right, so some weird shit's gonna happen where Alicia Silverstone's character didn't die, and the girlfriend is the mom, or something else, or some other character's gonna come in, that they foreshadowed, or something.
No,
nothing, no payoff at all.
Do you feel as though one story arc was finished, one character's arc was like wrapped up at the end, but like everybody else's was just annoying?
I'm starting to feel like maybe it was a real chop job.
That's what I mean.
They pieced it together. It seems like there was elements. Maybe they wanted to do more with things.
They wanted to do shit, and then
they hacked it up somewhere.
Like they threw everything in there. Like they had ideas. Like, let's do this. Yeah. You know what? Let's just put it all in the movie.
Sure.
Right.
And then the fucking ending. Like it was just that twist. I'm gonna talk about that twist. It was awful. Basically, there was no haunting. There was nothing supernatural. There was nothing going on. Basically, what happened when the girlfriend wakes up one morning, she looks at like the calendar. It was supposed to be December 22nd. They were supposed to be there for 2 days before Christmas to celebrate. They were going to celebrate Christmas there. The dad went off for 2 days to work, and he was going to leave them there in the lodge by themselves or by herself with the kids.
With a gun.
2 days.
With a gun.
With a gun. Yeah, that's right.
Because they showed it in the dollhouse, and they made a point to show the dad teaching the girl how to shoot.
Yes.
And the code to get into the fucking gun case.
Which was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was something stupid like that. So, so they leave, whatever. She wakes up one morning and looks at the calendar. The calendar says January 9th. And then all her stuff is gone. Her pills are gone. Her clothes are gone. All the food's gone. The power's off.
Yeah.
The fucking pipes are frozen. So there's no water. Nothing. So she goes crazy. And at first she goes to the kids. She's like, stop fucking with me. I know you're fucking with me. Give me my shit back. And they're like, what? No. What? Nothing's happening. What? We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
so the kid is like, the space heater killed us or something, right? Yeah. Where he's like, the space heater killed us. We're dead already.
At one point, she starts going crazy. She starts having these dreams and these visions of her dad, and then when she was in the cult and dead bodies and all that shit, and you could tell that she's kind of going crazy. So then the kids start jumping in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're in purgatory. We're fucking dead. You or we can't die. Blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "All right, what the fuck's going on?" And then at first I was like, "All right, it's that whole ghost thing."
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of cool.
Like, all right, it's gonna get cool. And then
it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
it never gets cool.
Long story short, the twist is the kids were fucking with her.
Yeah,
the kids fucking hid all her shit and shut off the power. And
they killed her fucking dog. They killed the dog. They killed Grady.
Dog. They let the dog, the little girl, Elvis Presley's fucking granddaughter, let the dog out, and the dog went out in the fucking snowy fucking terrain and froze to death. So,
sucks.
So she finds the dog and she freaks out and sits there. The one scene, she sits there in front of the house on the steps and she's freezing and she's holding the dog. Yeah. And the little girl's like, "It was my fault.
Maybe we've gone too far.
Too far."
Yeah.
And the fucking kid, the stuttering fucking kid from It, is like, "Come inside. We're sorry."
Yeah.
So that was the whole fucking twist. Was that there was no fucking twist. There was nothing going on. The kids were just fucking with her. And so in 48 hours. All right, and I don't know how crazy you can go because I don't have mental problems and I don't fucking take pills. I don't think you can go that fucking crazy.
It didn't really make sense. I mean, you don't really get an idea how long they were there. I mean, there was nights and days and nights and days. And also another thing that I really dislike about some modern horror movies that The Lodge does is like all your coolest visuals and creepiest shit. It gets repeated in a nightmare sequence. Like it's not the coolest part of the movie. It's not the actual thing. You're just having a fucking nightmare over and over again. It's like, let's make the actual movie itself, the actual characters, like being a real danger instead of them having these fucking like stupid reoccurring nightmares. Like this is the coolest part, is like this dream that keeps happening. It's like it gets kind of boring. Like, and if you're gonna do a slow burn, like I said, have a fucking satisfying ending. You know what I mean? And it's like the cool stuff with the cult and the you know, it reminded me a lot of Heaven's Gate. It wasn't even that important, like a plot thing. Like anything. I feel like it was supposed to. It was supposed to be like why she's not well in the head, but it's like, well, you didn't really do anything cool with that. You could have done something cool with that, but you didn't.
Fucking portrait of the nun or whatever the fuck.
It was like
staring at it, and then the one scene where she's eating the fucking sandwich, and then she turns around so it wouldn't look at her.
Yeah,
she wouldn't like be staring at it. Like I was like, all right, maybe it has something to do with her dad or whatever. Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing came of it. Nothing.
Yeah,
it was just it was bad. And then their version of the ending that they thought it was a satisfying ending was that the dad is like, hey, I'm coming home. And nobody's answering the fucking phone. He shows up. And she's fucking crazy already.
Yeah, just gone, man. She's gone.
And she's like, I can't die. We can't die. We're in purgatory. And the kids are like, sorry. It was our fault. And so she has a gun. He's like, give me the gun. And she shoots him. Or no, she goes to shoot herself. She's like, look, we're in purgatory. Bow. She fucking pulls the trigger. Nothing happened.
Russian roulette, baby.
She's like, see? And then he's like, give me the gun. She's like, no, hold on. You don't believe me. Pow, and then she shoots him, and then he dies. And you know, and then the ending. Did it just abruptly end?
I honestly don't. I can't remember what the last scene was.
What I remember was the last scene in the movie was, they had the shot from the staircase where he died.
Right.
You see the blood trail.
Sure.
And then the kids are in the dinner table. The dinner table's all set up. They're sitting there crying, and then she placed the dad at the head of the table, the dead body at the end of the table. And then she put the
Oh my God! Oh yes.
She sat down, and then it was over.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember anything else past.
Yeah,
that.
me neither do I.
And the only thing I remember after that was when the lights came on,
and the old lady's next to us. The old lady next to us was like, "Oh, what was that? You know, what the hell was that?"
In the audience, I was like, "All right, I'm not the only one that thought this was a piece of shit."
Dude, I'm so glad that I didn't go see that movie.
But no, this is a movie.
I stiffed you guys.
I feel like this is a movie. I feel like this is a movie that some people will really enjoy because that's their bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kind of fake elevated.
Yeah.
Intellectual horror movie, you know, that they love when things are fucking slow and it doesn't like it's not big. It's not big and flashy, you know. It's a real chamber piece fucking movie, and people will love it. I mean, and you put those fucking pull quotes like, you know, one of the great modern horror movies on the poster. You know what I mean?
Fucking get old because
it's like every fucking movie. Every movie is going to be the next
scary. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's going to be on somebody's like top of the year list for sure, man. You know,
yeah.
You know, Kellen already said it's the fucking best horror movie of 2019. It's fucking February.
Yeah. Well, then again, he also hated fucking Halloween 2018.
Oh my gosh. How do you watch a movie that you hate 6 fucking times? You know how many times I've seen fucking Suspiria? Once. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because it was terrible.
You know how many times I've seen that Day of the Dead the Bloodline?
Contagion?
Yeah, whatever it is, once. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to sit through, like, do I want to ever sit through The Lodge again? It seems highly unlikely.
No.
Highly unfucking likely.
Although I'm not going to lie, when I told Kat the whole movie, she was like, strangely, I want to watch it now.
Of course.
Like, really?
I mean,
I told her, I was like, it was bad. She was like, I don't know. She was like, it didn't sound that bad from the way you described it. I was like, no, it was terrible.
Try to sit through it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely try to, like, if I share my thoughts about a movie, I always try to, like, tell people to take it with a grain of salt. Like, somebody commented, like, oh, you know, now my expectations just dropped for this movie. I'm like, see it. I mean, you might like it. I mean, it's just, for me, it wasn't my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really over this, like, slow, miserable fucking movies. I'm just not into it anymore, man. I don't know. It just is like, no, I'm not. I want to go to see a horror movie and feel like it's a fucking alive, like it has energy, like it has life, it has heart. I don't want to just sit there and be fucking gloomy the whole fucking time, man.
It's credit though. Some of the movies though are that have that atmosphere. are good.
Yeah, it depends on but for the Shining, for instance, I mean that's a very dark movie, but the power in it is Stanley Kubrick's directing. It's the aesthetics of it. You know what I mean? I would love to follow Danny through all the Overlook, man. Just that tracking shot. I'll watch fucking 3 hours of that, bro. I mean, because you're in the hands of somebody capable.
Yeah.
So the movie can be fucking dark, but if it's like powerful filmmaking, then I'm into it, bro. You know, but I can't do this
that's
like
what this movie tried doing.
Yeah,
the shots.
Yeah,
it's
just
and the shit, and it just
But it's only so much that you can make, like pretend to be other movies, and fail at being your own thing.
Well, it's kind of like it's music, you know, like when like somebody comes out and you're like, yes, this is an amazing sound, I love this stuff, and then there's so many copycats.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the hair metal of the 80s, you know, like there's a reason why like you can like Motley Crue, for instance, is still put on the radio because you're like that. They were a part of it, like it meant something to them.
Sure.
It wasn't like phoned in, like cashing in. And I feel like that's what this movie.
Well, like so Nirvana came in, and then everyone wanted to wear flannel and play grunge and shit. You know what I mean?
And then you look at like the Lodge, and what that sounds like is we had some sort of success with this one horror.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, what else can we just throw into it?
Dollhouse was the thing they could throw in it.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
So that's it. So the Lodge was a big fucking pile of shit.
That sucks.
Don't go see it. Which is why we ruined the movie and we spoiled the fuck out of it. Now let's talk about a movie that was actually pretty.
Yeah. And then all three of us saw.
All three of us saw. So I want Dan. Why don't you kick it?
Come on, Dan. What do we watch?
So we watched VFW.
Ooh.
This movie. My goodness.
Tell people where they can stream it if they want.
You can get it on Amazon, Vudu, Google Play, I think right now.
Yeah.
It's $6.99. Highly recommend this film.
Buddy.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I have some critiques, but like overall, this movie, my wife actually, I started the movie, I got 23 minutes into it, and she was working on something, and then she's like, hey, did you can we watch that movie later? Because she saw the trailer and was like, I kind of want to watch that movie. So I stopped it.
Yes,
stopped right there,
to see that,
rewinded it, and like, so we ended up watching it together. So Stephen Lang is a veteran of the Vietnam War, and he runs a VFW, and he has a bunch of his friends and fellow servicemen that are in this and that come over, and they live like it's across from a abandoned theater, I think is what it is. That has a bunch of they call them mutants in the beginning of it, but it was basically like drug addicts that are just like hooked onto a new drug, hyper something. Hype. And then the
too much hype.
Yeah, too much hype. I love that. I was like, that's clever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, instead of like throwing in some like Stanley Kubrick stuff from The Shining or whatever. But drugs get stolen. Everybody's hooked. Girl gets killed by one of the leader of the drug dealers, and then the sister steals his drugs, and she's escaping and runs over to the VFW hall, and then just craziness kicks off.
Just him talking about it, I'm like,
It's one of those where it's like, I feel like I didn't really do it justice talking about it.
No, that's the plot, man. That is the plot.
Right there, I was like,
Yep.
That's like Predator. That's like, it's all those movies from the 80s that you're just like, zero setup really. It's all just go, go, go. And that's something that Mara pointed out was like, at no point, and she noticed that in like every movie, there's always this him and haw about somebody running into your establishment, and there's always somebody being like, well, I don't want to help her out. Well, why are we helping her out? Like it right from the jump, like that's where it starts. And I feel as though these movies in the 80s didn't do that. They were just like, no, this is what presented and this is what we go for. But she pointed out that the service, like that the servicemen, that's what they would have done is like, so here's the mission, go.
Sure.
You know, like she needs our help. We're just going to do it. Like they say in the movie, like you didn't have to ask. We were just going to do it.
Right.
So like that was, and like from when that first death sequence starts,
like before the title credit, right?
Like we're not even
before they show the name of the movie.
Directed by, we are like, I'm in it.
And that first bit of gore has that real homemade quality. Yeah. It's not like super polished or anything, but it looks awesome because you know that shit is fucking real. It's practical effects.
Yep.
Like, I don't care that it is a dummy falling from whatever.
Exactly.
I am like, yes.
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of you for being like, I don't know how we're going to do this. Fuck computers. We're going to just drop something down.
Yes.
It was, VFW was phenomenal from start to finish. Stephen Lang nails that old grizzled.
So good.
Like, I've seen some shit. I'm ready to go. And I don't care if he gets typecast in every movie from this point forward where he's just that grizzled vet. Do it. He's got it. And what's funny is like each time he does it, it's different. You know, it's not the same. It's like when you watch Stallone, you know, you're like, oh, again. But like, I'm not at that point with Stephen Lang. There's enough distance in between a bunch of his movies. But yeah, from top to bottom, the death sequences, the fight sequences, it all was, I noticed so many times with the quick cuts of like the explosions. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I love, like, that's the stuff to me that's like that homage to like, this is how they used to do it. Like, we don't got enough money to have like a bunch of capsules exploding on people. Like, we're gonna do quick cuts and like somebody's gonna throw blood against the wall. Like, that's what we're doing. I loved this movie. I'm sorry.
VFW, very fucking wonderful.
Yeah, dude. And what's funny is like Fred Williams, right? Williamson. Fred Williamson. He was at a con in Batavia like a couple years ago, and it was one of those like, I walked in and I was like, oh, okay, it's just like a collection con, whatever. And it was at their like casino there, and he was there. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? Not in like that's fucked up. It's more like that's fucked up to him. Like, he's
like legend status.
He's a legend. And he's just chilling out with like these 4 dudes just hanging out, and like no one's coming up to his booth. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then to see him be in this movie,
I'm like holding myself back until I get a turn to talk about it, because I'm ready to fucking gush.
And then the dude from Buffalo, Bogut, from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
William Sadler.
Oh my God. Phenomenal. This movie. And like, there were so many things like, and then the dude from Cheers.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
He ain't Norm.
I'm going to.
It was just, take it away, Peter.
It was there were so many people like Martin Cove, Sensei Kreese from the Karate Kid movies,
right?
You know, William Sadler, Fred Williamson, Stephen Lang, George Wendt, David Patrick Kelly, he was the guy
Twin Peaks. He was in Twin Peaks.
He was in Twin Peaks. He was the bad guy in the Warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I ain't no rat. I ain't no rat. From The Crow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, there were so many fucking like old time like just like action 80s movie. Like they weren't even like. Were they like background? They weren't even like background. They were like stars.
Yeah, the B. I would say like B movie actors that they're just like, I'm gonna have a career of making movies, and they're just, I'm gonna work.
Yep.
I'm gonna work.
I'm gonna work.
I'm not gonna be able to do 1 movie a year. I'm gonna do like 7, and I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, like Fred Williamson is known for like the blaxploitation movies from like, the 70s and the early 80s. Then we had obviously David Patrick Kelly which obviously that dude's just an institution. He's just been in so much shit, and he's always the bad guy. Always. Like I remember I just recently watched Commando with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
he was in that. I didn't fucking realize that he was in that. He also
no shit.
He's the guy that fucking Arnold throws off the roof.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
dude,
it's ridiculous. He was also in Dreamscape. I just watched that a few days ago. He was the bad guy in that. But then you get like people like when I saw the poster, I saw George Wendt. I'm like, George Wendt, what the fuck? George Wendt did it. I mean, you kind of got that Norm vibe when he walked in.
Yeah. And I think you're supposed to get that too. I think you're supposed to get that vibe.
I love the shit out of this movie. Like I don't know what your notes are that you had like the couple of problems that you had with it.
It's one note. It's one note.
For me, it was a total 100% 80s throwback, fucking nostalgic wild ride.
Yes.
Like from the synth score in the beginning of the movie that gave me that fucking Escape from New York vibe.
Dude. Yes.
All of that was just,
the fonts that they were using at the beginning, like that, like we'll give you a little bit of like advance the plot.
Oh, I love when they have the title card. There are drugs and blah blah blah.
Like and then it's like that was all Escape from New York for me, and like so that's.
Good. I'm glad that you guys thought that too because I wrote it down in my notes. Yeah, because it reminds me of the scenes from like Escape from New York when you're. Like when a Snake is like has to deal with the gangs that are living on the streets and stuff. That's exactly what this movie was like.
Fuck, the scene when the scene in Escape from New York when he's in he's getting chased by the fucking those crazies that came out of the manhole.
Yeah. That's the scene.
Shop, the coffee shop with the girl, and she's like, "Take me with you," and then he fucking grab her from under the fucking floor. Those are the vibes I got from this movie.
Plus Assault on Precinct 13 as well. For sure.
Obviously, this movie is like a huge homage to John Carpenter.
Yeah,
huge.
And that's how you win me. That's how you get me, baby. That's how you fucking get me. I'm in,
dude. Yeah.
But I mean, even like the dialogue of the movie, just with all of them like together, and I mean, again, Stephen Lang fucking acted his ass off. Actually, all of them pretty much did.
I'm being calm right now. I'm being calm right now so everyone can talk. From them talking to each other and you can actually like feel the camaraderie and like the brotherhood and just all that shit. Like the lines from the guy who directed this movie. What was his name again? Joe Bagos.
Joe Bagos. The movie, he had a movie previous to VFW, which I watched a few days before VFW called Bliss.
I watched it too.
The dialogue in that fucking movie was awful. It was awful. Yeah. The acting in that movie was awful. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
But like there was just shit during the movie. I was like, who the fuck wrote this movie? Mm-hmm. And it kind of gave me low expectations for VFW after watching that. But with this, I don't know if he wrote VFW also or what, but I mean, the dialogue was on point.
I think it was the quality of the actors. I think
that's what I was.
They had gravitas. All those actors, they're heavyweights.
Yeah.
They are, but still, I mean,
it could have went south. I mean,
dialogue is.
But I mean, like that's I think that's what you get like with like a local like low budget horror film is like the dialogue could be complete shit, but if you got somebody who's like got somewhere and like you nailed it, where it's like these guys had seen some shit and been through something like and. You felt as though those actors too were gonna go hang out after the night's over. Hey, what are you guys doing tonight? Like you've got that
titty bar.
Yeah. You knew something like that they hung out or did something.
It's just throwaway scenes that actually it's true. Lesser actors would have just shit the bed with it. Like the one scene where Stephen Lang and Martin Cove and he's like, I'm gonna go out there. He's like, you're not doing that. And then he puts his fucking Scully over his eyes.
Yeah.
And Stephen Lang punches him. He's like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Whatever. Like just their back and forth. All of their fucking back and forth felt genuine.
Right.
Like it's almost like almost like they were all real. Like they're all real friends outside of the movie.
You can't fake that, man. It's really tough to fake that.
It was good. But there's so much more. Like the gore. Like just the one initial scene with William Sadler. Where he's fucking stomping the fucking one dude's head in.
Yes.
Like, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yes.
These movies are the reason why I think it's so, like, if somebody was going to punch me in the face, that it was just going to explode because of how easy
blood.
It made it look in these particular films where it's just like, he's just stomping the shit out of his head.
He keeps stomping.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know also, but this is also from the producers of Bone Tomahawk and what is it? Brawl and Cell 99.
Okay.
That makes sense. Well, I think it's is it Fangoria produced it?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were one of the producers.
Yeah.
It was one of the producers, but it also had like Bone Tomahawk and Brawl and Cell Block 99. Which, if you saw any of those movies, Bone Tomahawk, but also Brawl and Cell Block 99. That movie was just, in terms of like
Off
the gore
the
and
wall.
shit, same thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same thing. Heads exploding. People just fucking. Vince Vaughn was just ferocious in that movie.
Sure.
And he's like just punching people and their heads are just fucking just turning to mush. From the punches. And it was the same type of gore in this, which made me just super happy.
That's
and William Sadler with that fucking, what was it, a handsaw buzz.
Oh, when that comes
dude.
in, like,
Isn't that
man.
the Jaws of Life?
Oh, that's
don't
what
know
it might have been. Yeah.
But
I'm like,
that
oh my
was
God,
awesome.
this fucking movie's bringing the chainsaw out.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was great. It was
Yes.
great.
So from when they did the makeshift weapons to like, what do we got? I was like, yep, I'm in it. Like, it's just, and it's so believable in air quotes, because it's like, that's what you would think. Like, yeah, they would take apart. He would have nails. He would take apart the stool to make a hammer out of it, you know, like.
And then the little small talk that they're making, you know, they got the barricades up and the fucking crazies are all going through, are about to like bust through.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, hopefully I'll save some for you. And they're like, fuck you, I'm going to take them all. Like, just
I love it.
That was
I
just
love it.
Predator shit, dude.
It was.
I loved it.
It was. All right, enough gushing. PV, you look like you're about to explode.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's how watching VFW made me feel. So I'm going to set the scene.
All right.
Nicole, my girlfriend, out of town. So this was, I came home from watching The Lodge with you. I think it was Saturday night.
Yep.
I had some pizza. I drank a whole bottle while I was eating the pizza of like champagne or whatever. So I was like eating pizza, drinking some alcohol, and I put the movie on, and it was just the right combination of things, and it felt like a magical experience, because it was like a spirit after the Lodge. Watching VFW was like a spiritual cleanse. Like I did a juice cleanse on my body.
God damn.
And VFW, like. And I obviously don't want to say too many crazy things about it, but I feel like it was this kind of movie that makes me believe in horror. Every time I see a movie like this, it makes me like realize why I love horror so much. You know what I mean? Because it's so pure. It's so unpretentious. You know what I mean? And that's what I loved about it. You know, it knew what it was. It got me with the fucking sim score. The chemistry between those characters is so incredible. Every time Stephen Lang spoke in that gravelly, slow voice, I fucking loved it, man. I want to give that dude a fucking trophy just for the kind of weight that he carries in a movie. You know what I mean? The presence that he has. And William Sadler, like, fucking completely shocked me in that movie. I mean, the rapport they had was incredible. Like, it was hard to understand. Like,
it takes a lot to be so subtle in a look that you don't have to have dialogue for us to understand. Like, yeah, I get it.
It had heart.
I get that.
That movie had heart, which you could have had all the crazy, cool, gory practical effects you wanted. It still would have been fun. But without that element of the characters and having heart and having the chemistry, it wouldn't have been a home run like the way I think it is. You know what I mean? Because I would have loved just hanging out with those dudes at the bar, you know? And it is also making, a larger commentary about these aging men, you know, and their place in society and like veterans and all this stuff, you know what I mean? And like almost similar to the way, like, I don't know, something like even The Irishman deals with like, you know, people coming, you know, badass dudes coming to the end of their lives and like, is it our last hurrah kind of thing, you know what I mean? And there was one line in the movie, I don't know if you guys are gonna remember it, but when he said it, I got fucking chills, like cheering at home, kind of drunk, stuffing pizza down my fucking gullet. But when Fred Williamson says towards the end of the movie, now let's see what all this rumbling's about, I was like, oh my God, because he gets, I think, the nails in his hands or something, right? He's got the Wolverine stance, and he does all the drugs. They just break open the thing of drugs, and like, let's fucking go. But he says, now let's see what all this rumbling's about. I'm like, oh my God, this is the fucking movie for me. This is the fucking movie for me. And it was just like, you can't have some new whack actor say online like that and expect me to buy it. But Fred Williamson, I'm like, look at this fucking dude. Of course I'm gonna believe it and get and cheer him on when he says something that fucking badass. You know what I mean? And as we said, the effects just incredible. The Cannibal Holocaust kill. I don't know if you remember that when one of them takes the pike, boom, right through the person's fucking throat, you know, and just shoves it in there. And then when they have the fucking axe, I think Stephen Lang's character uses the axe a lot. And there's that one scene when they have a bunch of stakes, pointy wooden sticks attached to like the propane tank or something, and they either roll it down.
They swung it.
Yeah, they swung it to all the drug addicts, and then there's a quick cut, and you just see like all the carnage of bodies exploding. You could see the cut scene. It was just like meat flying everywhere, but it was just so good. Like I was like fucking cheering at home, like watching this movie all by my fucking self Saturday night like a loser. But like, I mean, that's the shit that makes me excited to watch this stuff. Is like it makes me feel like I'm a 13-year-old kid again, like falling in love with horror. You know what I mean? It's like
there's a level of authenticity that comes out of this film that like
it's
you're saying,
love, bro. It's somebody who loves it.
Yeah, they get it. Because I saw Cabin Fever like years ago in the theater, and there's that point where it like shifts, and I started cheering, and I started laughing my ass off, and everybody around me was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? Like we're supposed to be sharing this experience, and like us just talking about it. It's like we're all there on the couch, watching it, and it's like it's there, you know, and it's like fuck those normies that just think that like, oh no, it's got to be highbrow, you know. It's like no, this movie from start to finish is just phenomenal, and it is that. It's like that. I don't know, like, you know how we've been wanting I've been wanting like that nostalgia thing to come back. I feel like this movie nails it, but also progresses.
Oh yeah,
that part of it
because it brings in the element of chemistry with the characters and the element of heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which and you have all those fantastic actors and some really interesting dialogue and all their quips and interactions. You know what I mean? Really add like a level of quality to it that just having bloody gore wouldn't really reach, you know what I mean? And it's a nice 90 minutes, man, at most. I mean, how do you know just what I want? You know what I mean? If like somebody, you know, make your ideal modern horror movie something that, you know, you'd be fucking head over heels for. This is like it to a T, man.
You made a comment about how no new actors could do some of that, like those lines. Why do you think that is? Like why do you think like us as like an audience, I'd say like the mass audience doesn't give certain, like if Evil Dead came out today, Evil Dead 2 came out today, do you think it would be as successful? Like we don't know anything about it, but like to see Ash having those one lines and all that stuff, do you think it would mean as much? I think, because of like what you're saying.
Yeah, I think certain actors have a je ne sais quoi, but like a presence, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of those older actors in VFW have the presence. They have a commanding presence, a gravitas, if you will. So Fred Williamson, I mean, he's like an iconic, legendary actor, you know, and he's just got a certain cool that you can't fake. And so his legendary status and his cool, which is like you can't fake that 100%. He can say like the dumbest line or whatever, but if he says it, it makes it suddenly cool. And you can't, and you just can't do that. I mean, I can't buy some little like fucking needle neck saying, now let's see what all this rumbling's about. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to have me in the movie saying that line. You know what I mean? It's not going to make any sense, but you get somebody like Fred Williamson, Stephen Lang to say something cool like that. I mean, I'm all the way in. I am all the way in.
That dude is the epitome of cool. Like, I don't know. You guys,
I was looking at his fucking jawline in the movie. I'm like, look at these jaw lines.
He's a big boy. Have you guys gone to the Buffalo Comic Con at all?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I work security for it, and also Mark, my co-host over at Geeks That Lift.
Who I'm surprised doesn't come to Terrors more often than the movies he loves.
I know.
Right.
He's been called out,
Jesus.
Mark. Duh, freaking Rican.
Fucking Prince of Darkness. What was the other one? Maximum Overdrive. Yeah. What are you fucking waiting for, dude?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll guilt him into more screenings.
Shame his ass.
We were working the Buffalo Comic Con one year, and Fred Williamson was there. He was one of the guests that we had at the con, and they also had John Wish's Ship and Eric Roberts and this, that, and the other, a few other people. But the funniest thing is that Mark, I kind of make fun of him because he still talks like, 60s, 70s, like,
boy, a little outdated
dialect. Yeah. He still says dog and stuff like that. But it's pretty funny because we're walking the con and we walk by Fred Williamson and Mark and I are just talking, and I've already seen Fred Williamson a couple times already. So I was already like, I did my starstruck thing, and I'm like, all right. After seeing him like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, all right, cool. He's one of us. But we're walking by, and I swear to God, Fred Williamson looks at Mark and is like, "What's up, dog?"
Oh,
Mark looked at him without missing a beat. Nothing, dog. What's up? And then we just kept walking. I was like,
what is happening?
What is happening right now? Like, it was funny because Fred Williams was just super cool, man. He was just like,
is he tall? He looks like he'd be tall.
Oh, he's tall as fuck. Yeah, he's probably like 6'2".
Okay,
maybe 6'3".
Yeah,
he's a tall motherfucker. But yeah, he was just sitting at his vendor table, cool as fuck.
I can imagine, man.
He was a cool guy to talk to. Like, I talked to him a little bit after that exchange. Like, I told Mark, I was like, Fred Williams is your fucking spirit animal.
Yeah, we're your buds now. Yeah, you're buds.
We're hanging out.
Like they were talking like they've known each other for years. Like they were family. Like, what up, dog? Nothing, dog. What's up? And it was
shit, man.
Like that little.
You coming to dinner on Sunday?
Yeah. Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. I'll bring the denim jacket.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it.
Oh, so much double denim.
Oh my God, there was so much denim.
Oh, loved it.
It was made for me. This movie was 100%.
Movie was tailor-made.
Whoever made it, I feel like they must have been like watching me or something because they know exactly what the fuck I needed to love this movie.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to think about it, but it almost feels like what Expendables, the movie, like
what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I really loved Expendables 2. Now I thought that was fucking awesome, like crazy gory action. But I feel like these two movies are somewhat related in what they attempted to do.
Yeah.
But something about VFW doesn't have the sort of like intentional corniness that Expendables had, you know what I mean? Without having seen the third one, I've seen the first 2 of Expendables, but really enjoy the second one. But yeah, VFW, man, it didn't really. I feel like it respected the characters and the actors and everything, you know. And I really like I kind of like the bad guy too, like the guy who was playing the villain, because it was like such a classic villain. Like he was just really hamming it up, and he was just like a dude wearing like a leather jacket with no shirt underneath, with those fucking studs on the shoulders, and it's like that's what I want, man. Like I don't need like a forced love story. I don't need the villain to have like all like motivations, you know, from his being bullied as a child or some shit. Just give me the situation, put me in it, and then we'll go from there. You know what I mean? I don't need a fucking huge setup and all like flashbacks and shit like that. I don't need that. You know, just give me the fucking movie.
The story progressed through the dialogue.
Exactly. Yeah,
it wasn't moments of flashback bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that was something I don't like when they dropped the like, oh, you guys are fucked. You killed his brother. And that's like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh shit, okay. And like never goes back. They never, and like there's no like the villain never acknowledged that that's why he's killing them.
Nope.
He never like he just goes. It's just nope. This is it, and it's unapologetic.
And when one of the guys from the VFW just walks up to the bad guy and they have that conversation, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, the car salesman talk thing. It was just really cool, and you know. I thought the casting was interesting. Besides having all those iconic actors, but you had the person who was playing the young girl in it. It was interesting to have her hanging out with all those old dudes, and then you had the young black soldier come in, and he was part of the fold now. Yeah. So it was interesting how they all had this sort of like interplay. It wasn't just old B actors, you know what I mean? They try to infuse it with like more modern characters, and there is that sort of discussion of age in lines when the girl is talking to like Stephen Lang and all those dudes, you know what I mean? And it was like, holy shit, I mean, you got old ass Stephen Lang talking with this young actress, and they're like having a genuine exchange, you know, and among the performances, and I'm like, I'm really believing this. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm a real fucking sap for this shit. You know, I'm a real mark for it.
Even the scene when the young soldier comes into the bar, And then they're questioning him, and William Sadler goes over to tell him his story that he was telling him. And then like Stephen Lang was like, "Oh, where are you from? Where were you stationed?" And then they were like, "Oh, nobody paid. Somebody who just came home don't pay for drinks." Like all that shit. That whole
it felt sweet. It felt so sweet, man.
And genuine.
Yeah.
Like this kind of shit really happens.
Yeah.
In VFWs.
Yeah. And then they pop on the old '80s like workout tape and stuff. Yeah. It was like almost this like kind of raunchy like humor, but not too bad.
Right.
But just enough that like, oh, you can tell these are old dudes, and they're like they still have that raunchy sense of humor. Like Fred Williamson talking about needing toothpicks to pick out the pubic hair. You used to buy them in bulk. He says in there.
Yeah. What's going on?
It was like funny, man. I don't know. It's like,
but like that's what I was gonna like. It was progressive too. Like they
did it without preaching. But they did it without preaching.
Like, they weren't like the cliche of, oh, I'm a vet, I'm an asshole.
Yeah. And they had the young girl in it, and she wasn't like this like like helpless thing. She was in the fight with him. She was going toe to toe with him.
Changed over.
Yeah.
You didn't get any of that shit.
But also there was I liked the exchange between her character and William Sadler's character, where she was like questioning why they're doing it, and he was like he goes we didn't have a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Something I was paraphrasing. He was like, the moment you walked in.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't ask you to do it.
We were fucking duty bound to fucking help.
Yeah.
There was no question.
And that's the part of like, they represent a time that is like fading, and a way of being in life that is fading. And that's why I feel like it's reminiscent of something spiritually like The Irishman or whatever, where like it's the times now they're changing, and we're seeing an era and a way of being a man that is like perhaps fading away. You know what I mean? So I mean, whatever that means. I mean, so there is a certain level of like things you can really look in there if you wanted to, and like dissect as like having a message in a meeting. But even if you don't want to look at it that way from a critical lens, it's just a fucking like balls to the wall like gore fest, man.
Fucking movie.
That's a movie I would have rented as a kid.
Loved it.
And would have just been like, I'm going to watch this 7 times.
Yeah, dude. I wanted to watch it. I know you watched it again. I watched it
3 times.
Did you? Nice.
In 48 hours, I watched it 3 times.
Yeah, I could see that being a fucking 8-bit video game back in the day. Yes. Release it on fucking Nintendo, you know what I mean? It's just, the bad guys just come in waves, into the bar,
The big boss.
Yeah.
One of the bosses is the chick.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. She was awesome, too. Yep. She was that perfect, like B-level like master villain.
She had a fight Fred Williamson. I forgot exactly what happened. And then Stephen Lang comes and gets her with the flag pole. That's the Cannibal Holocaust.
Best that's how you know you're like that grade awesome villain of just like that's the kill, like that's that memory, like
or the big tall bald guy, the big tall like bulky, he just runs in bum. So they all the characters take turns trying to fight him, you know. You just love it.
She's the one that gets him with what?
I think she had a corkscrew. Mara jumps up and she's like, she's definitely been in jail. That
shank.
She shanked that shit.
She shanked him. Fuck, man.
Yeah, so my only critique,
tread lightly.
And I will.
Tread lightly.
I started it during the day. The movie was a little dark.
Sure.
That was my only problem. And it's like that was the only thing, because I was like, when I first started it, that part where Stephen Lang goes to the back door in the first, and he's like looking out at the
parking lot and stuff.
Parking lot and seeing the truck and everything. I had no idea where he was at that point in the movie because of the time of day I was watching it, to where when we started it again at night, I was like, oh, so that's what was happening.
Yeah, I watched it at night and I shut off the lights too in the house. Like so it worked really well.
So that was my only critique, was like the cinematographer needed to just kind of like fix up the lighting a little. Not the cinematographer, the lighting guy needed to just fix that up, because like I want to be able to watch that movie during the day as well, because it was just that much fun.
Yeah.
And but overall, like the look, he nailed that look of being in a bar that you're just like, the only lights are the neon lights. Yeah. But to me,
that director's got a habit of doing those. Like
but like
the
to
lights
me, it's
too.
like, come on, we don't need to. I want to still see everything.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because I feel like there was stuff hidden in the film that you kind of wanted to know more about, like in the background and stuff like that. That's it. Literally, that was it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that was intentional when they filmed it, because I was watching it on my TV, and I watch it at night and I watch it in the day also.
This man.
And you could tell, like, I think they did it on purpose because it's filmed like an 80s movie.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's trying to look grainy.
It was grainy.
Yeah, it was trying to look
everything.
okay.
Yeah, it was grainy and smoky, and
it almost like a filter over it almost.
Again, it was almost, I mean, think about it though. Watching Escape from New York, which I watched again recently because it's on Shudder, it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Escape from New York is predominantly pretty dark, like visually. Pretty much the whole movie. And I think that's what they were going for.
My one critique is I think some of the editing was a little bit too fast. I noticed later on some of the kills they cut away from us seeing the damage, and it was real real fast, and could be a little disorienting, especially if you don't include watching the damage that the kill is. But I don't really care. I mean, this. Right. I would be surprised unless we have an incredible, crazy 2020 in terms of quality of movies. This VFW will 100% be on like my favorites of the year. This is a day one like Blu-ray purchase. I would be surprised if that Witter Entertainment, the VHS company, does not release this on tape. I'd be surprised if they don't.
This is this is the first cult classic I think we've had in a couple of years.
And I watched I watched like you. I watched Bliss. Well, I watched it after I watched VFW, and I saw that a lot of people put Bliss on their like best of 2019 lists and stuff. Really? It was fine. I thought it was pretty good. But VFW, it's like they're not even comparable, bro.
Yeah, no way.
I mean, maybe they look similar in terms of style because it's the same director. But I mean, this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. This VFW feels like. It feels alive. It feels like it has energy. Like it amps you up when you watch something that's actually good. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I'd do a double feature of this and Mandy. Like just because
Mandy would slow it down. Mandy would slow the fuck down. It's so long. I
think you'd do Mandy first and then do VFW. Oh yeah. Just because of like how Mandy ends with like going all the way like balls to the wall, and then VFW just picks that up. I feel like those two would be kind of cool.
I'm down for Escape from New York and VFW. I'm down, man. I'm down for that.
Yep.
I'm down for that
first, and then VFW.
Oh yeah,
just to finish it off.
Fucking makes me smile, man.
My dick's hard.
So good.
Same, dude.
No buffer seat.
No buffer seat.
The movie made me forget that the lodge. I even had to sit through that. VFW washed it all out of my body.
Yeah. Like that's it's. I don't know. I there's got to be I don't know if there's gonna be any movie that's gonna come out in the next few months, or even for the rest of the year that's gonna compare to this movie. Like you said, like when we do our like end of the year top 5, top 10, this one, unless anything else comes out that fucking blows our socks off, like for me myself, right now this is the top movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's only February.
Yeah.
Because how many movies have come out? Like 4 or 5 already?
It seems like a ton. A ton, man.
Right, and then this one, we got no release here.
Nothing.
No.
And now all of a sudden it's like. I'm like, holy shit. Like you were saying, like day one, like, where is this? Like, again, it was one of those like, I'll look for it. If it had shown up on a Shudder or a Netflix, I was like, I'll check that out eventually. Yeah. But like the fact that we had to do this, like now I want to go out and preach the word.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm a convert now,
to see this film.
Yeah. I got one of my buddies, Jesse.
The wrestler. He the Blade.
He saw my video on it. He was like, "Oh, was VFW?" I was like, "Listen,
he would love it. He would love it."
I told him, I was like, "It's 150% your type of movie."
Yeah.
I was like, "You love those '80s action throwback movie." I was like, "This is totally."
Bro, I just got a comment on one of my Instagram posts from a guy that I went to high school with, who just like he like never really like says anything or likes anything, but he just popped up on one of my VFW posts and was like, "I just watched this. Great recommendation." I mean, so this is a movie that's gonna like I think pick up steam. And although it wasn't like a big release, I felt like I knew it was coming months ago. Like I'm a person who like listens to other horror podcasts, and it was on the cover of Fangoria, and so I've been anticipating this movie, and it's a bummer it didn't play anywhere like on the big screen, but I'm just happy that like it was easily available on the VOD.
Right, yeah.
And then also that's another thing. People just asking like, where did you watch it? Where did you watch it? You know, like just fucking, you know, I have a Roku at home and there's a search option and I just type in the name of the movie. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean? And then it comes up. It was like $7.
3 letters.
It's $7. I'm down to pay for that. You know, like I don't care. I get to be at home. I get to eat a ton of pizza, get a little drunk. You know what I mean? Shut off all my lights and fucking make all kinds of crazy sounds. Like, you know, like I'm watching a fucking football game.
That's a Saturday night.
No, man, Shooter doesn't care, man. He'd punch me in the mouth if I got too loud.
I don't know, because that was on the list too, wasn't it?
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah,
we did talk about VFW, right? Well, there's one.
Yeah, I've been slowly knocking out movies from that list. You know what I mean? So I'm excited that it's been generally pretty rewarding. I liked Riddle and Hansel. I loved VFW now. So. Yeah. I'm really happy. You know, I didn't like the Lodge, but
agreement of this one.
Yeah, it's really cool to like finally have something that just is like this bridges the gap.
Tell all of us we're just super excited to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you knew 5 minutes, like not even 5 minutes into the film, like you just knew, like you had like okay, like where are we going? Yeah.
As soon as I hear the score and I saw that body fall, I'm good, man. I'm good.
And then the title pops up. You're like, yeah, it's not gonna go downhill from here. It's not. It can't.
That was great. Well, guys, you guys obviously that was a great recommendation. Like we said, look it up, check it out. It's awesome. So we got a little more time. We're going to get into what we were originally going to talk about.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, how long have we been going, man?
We're not going. We're still going.
Okay.
We're an hour and 40 minutes. So
all right.
We're good.
I got my coffee. I'm ready.
All right. Oh yeah, I already did my coffee, so I'm already ready to go. And I didn't blow my wad on the whole VFW review.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like I was so excited to talk about it, you know, like it could have just drained me, but thinking about the movies got me excited again. You know what I mean? Give me a second win.
Like one of those dollar store fucking areas.
Yeah, man. I'm going to start just fucking snorting them.
Dry them out.
Yeah.
Dry them out. All right. So that was VFW. Now, basically the main subject that we were going to talk about today, seeing as it's Black History Month, we only have a couple of days left in the month. It is a leap year, so the 29th is Saturday. We decided to talk about Black horror.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how were we going to start it off. I figured we'd start it off with fucking Tales from the Hood. Thursday Night Terrors. We did a screening of you did a screening of Tales from the Hood, one of the anthology movies from the 90s, Black horror.
That's right. Directed by Rusty Condeef.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I know what my experience was like watching that movie. You know, I want to know how other people perceived it, because I'll go into the way I experienced this movie after you guys, but I want to know what it was like from you guys in your seat while watching this movie, just the vibes, the atmosphere.
Well, what I originally saw this movie, it's funny that that we went and saw The Lodge at the Market Arcade Theater, the AMC Theater. I saw Tales from the Hood when it was originally released.
In 95?
In 95.
Wow. You lucky bastard.
At that same theater. And it was a totally different experience from the experience that we just had this past Thursday.
Oh, see, this is what I want to hear about.
Yeah, when I went to see it back in the day, well, also, I mean, keep in mind, downtown Buffalo was kind of like dirty, and the downtown...
You love seeing movies in dirty ass...
And it was a mixed crowd at the movie theater. So we had, Black, Hispanics, white people, all of us went to go see the movie. And actually, when we saw it at the time, it was a fun movie. Like, I enjoyed this movie immensely when I first saw it in the theater. I bought it on VHS. I bought it on DVD, and when it was released on DVD, I thought it was a great fucking movie, an anthology movie. I like how it hit like situations of the time with the police brutality, the drugs, the domestic abuse, just all that. But then it was also a horror movie.
Yeah.
I fucking loved. I loved all the stories. I loved the fact that it was an anthology movie. I'm a big fan of anthology movies.
Same.
And like found footage movies. Those are my two like big ones. Now, Thursday Night Terrors, I was excited when you announced that they were going to show Tales from the Hood. I was like, I can't wait to see what the reaction is to this fucking movie. Especially when, I mean, let's be honest, the Terrors family, everybody, we're about 98% white.
Yeah.
Caucasian.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I would say that.
Man, I could taste the white guilt in the theater while the movie was playing.
I don't want to interrupt, but do you remember during the raffle, and I was like, this movie didn't regarding Tales from the Hood. This movie didn't win an award, but it should, and they all started clapping. I'm like, oh, a little bit of guilt clapping, huh?
I heard that.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh my god! Like it was just like sitting there. Like of course I'm sitting there like what was the story with Corbin Burnson and the dolls.
Yes.
And just him running around and throwing the racial slurs and this and that. And I'm sitting there just laughing. And Kat's laughing too.
Yeah.
But then as I'm laughing, I'm realizing I'm the only one laughing. Like I'm looking around. I go to Kat. I go, holy shit! You could feel the fucking
yeah. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I can't. Oh man.
She goes, yeah. She goes. These white people are guilty. That's what it is. They're scared to laugh. They're scared to react at all. Like there was hardly any reactions. Like I think the one other person that was actually reacting to the movie was John Renna. Who was sitting in front of me.
He wore his little shirt.
Cool Tales from the Hood shirt and everything. But that's it. Everybody else, like every story, though, like it was just dead silence, like church. Like it was. Oh God, I liked it. I loved it. I love the fact that we were there. I love the fact that everybody was just so fucking uncomfortable. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's a really fun movie.
That's the funny part, right? Is it's like it's a fun movie and they're supposed to be showing you this stuff.
Yes.
And yet it immediately now, because of like where we're at as a society, it's like this is uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you're like, this is 95. This is after Rodney King.
Yeah.
Like this is like
LA riots and
crazy right now. And they came out with this.
Yeah.
And now you're like, things haven't changed.
Nope.
And like you were saying, Peter, where it's like it still holds up. Like it is still
relevant now.
So I gotta say, I'm gonna let me get into it. All right,
do it.
So, real quick anecdote regarding this. So a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I'm excited from Tales from the Hood. I love watching." Who hadn't seen it before, and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch these. Like, I love watching these campy, silly movies with other people." And me knowing the movie because I've seen it, and I'm like, "Oh, a lot of people haven't seen this movie before."
Right.
And as before the movie, I asked who hasn't seen it, and then you get a flood of hands, and I'm like, I should start fucking digging my own grave now. You know what I mean? So I didn't let this dude know. And I'm like, it's really not like
good for you.
Too like fun. It's not campy. It's not watching like Demon Wind or something. You know what I mean?
This isn't Chopping Mall.
Yeah. This isn't Shopping Mall. But I didn't say anything, right? Because it's an important movie. And so now this is a movie that I've only seen at home, on cable when I was a kid or on this tape. And in my memory, it's always been like this charming 90s like gem. You know what I mean? Like really fun and underappreciated movie. And then we watched it at Terrors. And this might be the first time that watching a movie on the big screen with an audience completely changed my fucking perspective of a movie. Yeah. I've loved the movie, but I always thought of it as this cute, like charming 90s thing. But seeing it on the big screen like that, it was fucking incendiary. It was confrontational. It almost felt fucking dangerous, man.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like this cutesy 90s thing. It felt like this movie could have came out fucking yesterday, bro. Like, it was like, like, I can't believe the power this movie has in this context. The context of me watching a movie has never changed something so definitively before. Like, seeing it like that with people on a big screen, it's like watching a whole new movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that scene with the politician, who was the name of that actor?
Corbin Burnson.
it's like it was like predicting Trump, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the way he was dropping the N-word like that. You could feel the people in the crowd taking it like, you could feel their bodies just like, squirming in their seats.
Right?
Yeah, you could feel the people just, and I remember that segment for the dolls being creepy when I was a kid. But you watch it now and you're like, holy shit! Hearing him drop all those racist words is like super tough.
Yeah.
And then the segment after that with the guy who's in like the sensory deprivation thing, that's like a complete influence on Jordan Peele's Get Out and the what is it called? The Sunken Place.
Yeah.
And that scene was tough because it's like strobe light for like 10 solid minutes, and then you get this whole history of fucking racism with all these like, unfortunate like black men getting lynched and KKK hoods and fucking burning crosses. And you're like, holy fuck, this movie, I never knew how biting this movie was. Like a movie that has like no bones about making its audience squirm. I mean, that sequence not only was a strobe light thing difficult to get through, but also just like facing the reality of like racism, you know what I mean? The brutalness of it, and you always think of the movie and you think of like Clarence Williams III, like giving that deliciously cheesy performance, and which is still great, but the social commentary in this movie is exceptional. Like, I don't think I've ever felt a terror screening like that before, where it was like, oh my God, can terrors be like this, like timely, like like social issue like thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't think anyone really expected that.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, I've definitely tried to book movies with specific times in mind. Like, I screened They Live, and that was only like a few days, maybe a week after Trump's inauguration. So it was like, it's a subtle thing, you know what I mean? I never really mentioned it, and obviously I didn't really, mention too much about Tales from the Hood, and I do that like purposely, you know what I mean? Because clearly a lot of people haven't seen these movies before, so I want them to go in with like a completely fresh experience, you know what I mean? So to know that people expected it to be this like goofy, campy movie is like really incredible. I mean, my mom was there, and it's like, she let me watch. I obviously watched this movie as a kid, and there's a mother and like a young daughter couple that come in all the time. I wonder what that like little 13-year-old thought of this movie. watching it now, like it's really something incredible. I think special. I think this will be like one of the infamous screenings, Yeah, like for sure.
I agree. Like I'm real interested, like to just to know and just hear like other people's like opinions that were at the screening of.
Well, I'm glad that you felt it too. I'm glad like you felt the uncomfortableness or whatever, the tension in there. I think maybe that's why the rant afterwards was like the release for all that like uncomfortableness. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like me feeding off that and trying to trying to lighten the mood. Yeah. Which ended up just being a dick.
It's so interesting because like you and I get to work on this stuff like a lot sooner than everybody realizes. Yeah. So like when you announced that, when you told me that you were going to be doing Tales from the Hood in February, I was like, awesome. Like that's going to be like awesome.
Yeah.
Like fine.
Yeah, he did. He was like, "Oh, I can't wait for fucking Tales from the Hood." Man.
Because
even you, I think, mentioned it too.
Because like I think that's something you kind of got to do. Like you got to show like there's other voices within this. You know, like and this is kind of like this movie to me now after seeing that screening says like a lot more about how this movie. As a kid, I just took it as, oh, that's a scary movie.
Yeah, scary dolls.
That's a scary movie, and that's all it is. Yeah. And this screening showed me, like, it reinvigorated the power that is in horror of, like, Night of the Living Dead. And I know we've talked about that, and I know everybody always talks about that movie.
But it's worth repeating. And it's worth repeating.
Like, we need to keep talking about this stuff.
Preach.
Because, like, it's such a big, like, I know he wasn't the actor that was supposed to be chosen, like that he was the best guy, and that's awesome, but that is not the story you hear all the time, right? Like this movie, like the only thing that was dated was the clothes.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how That's crazy.
And maybe some of the CGI at the very end scene, you know what I mean, when they pan back and it's hell.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm thinking like, okay, so Spawn comes out in 97 and they didn't get any of the hellfire that good in like then. Like I almost prefer the fire in this because like it's supposed to be kind of bad.
Yeah.
But like it's not. It's like this is the best we could do, right? Without real fire. So it's just like, yeah, the CGI maybe, but like to me, like after seeing that Black Noir from from
horror
Shudder, horror noir, like that was just like, oh, like you did the things you like you learn, and then also talking about like 2019 was huge for like seeing this rise, right? Like Watchmen.
Wow.
That's another one that you're just like,
and it was so. I don't want to interrupt, but real quick, just seeing Tales from the Hood after starting to watch The Watchmen on HBO. Like I was like so shocked by watching The Watchmen on HBO, like the way it tackles race so deftly and so like courageously, bravely, like. But they complement each other so well. Right. You know what I mean? Go on. So
and I feel as though this movie is something that should be talked about a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, man. They should play this shit in fucking classes, man, or something.
Because you look at it and you look at the cover and you're like, that's just a classic horror cover for this movie with the skull, and it's the black glasses because you're getting like tales from the what was the other movie that has like, there's tales from the
Crypt.
There's Tales from the Crypt, but there's like, it's a take. There was that other movie that came out with like,
Tales from the Dark Side.
No, damn it! It's got like Cuba Gooding Jr. in it.
Is this a horror movie?
No, this is just a regular
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
And then here in Tales from the Hood, like I thought this was like a sequel to that as a kid. Because like as you're growing up, I'm like, this must be a sequel to this.
Yeah.
And then you see the trailer and you're like, that is not a sequel.
Well, this came out around the same time of when the Hood movies were popular.
Right.
You know, you got Menace to Society, you got Boys in the Hood. There was in the movie Dead Presidents. Like,
yes,
like all these like Hood movies, they were like all the rage.
Yeah.
And this came out and on the perfect time, like right when all of it, like this was a horror Hood movie. Like you had like the Hood love stories, and the Hood the Hood action movies, and then you had
the crime story,
the Hood,
right?
like like the gang movies and all that other shit. So this just fit in perfectly with the time, that all those movies is an advent of all these movies.
And I feel like what you're saying is why this movie kind of got lost in the mid 90s.
Yep. And
you would see it, like people would rent it and they'd be like, yeah, that, like you were saying, it's a 90s gem, right? But now there's so much, like it's so deeper, like kind of how you're looking at like Night of the Living Dead. You're like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like he's slapping white men. Like that's crazy. But like
it strikes me every time, man.
But it's also like, to me, it also shows like that racism is taught. It's not something like you learn to be a racist, right? Because like I'd watched like Night of the Living Dead. I didn't realize that was such a big deal until somebody pointed it out to me.
I watched this as a kid. Yeah,
I didn't realize Tales from the Hood was so deep. Yeah, until that screen.
I was 33. I was 33 years old when I found out the power of Tales from the Hood, and I think it hasn't reached the level of other movies, like because it could be too much for some of these for some horror fans.
I put it up there with Get Out, man.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%, 100%. Eugene, I gotta ask you, as someone who saw it in '95, did it feel powerful back then as like a social message thing?
Hey everybody, it's Pat. So it turns out they talked for another hour and a half after this point. So in the mindset of trying to keep this somewhat concise, we've split this into 2 episodes. So come back next week for the second half of this. Sorry, this is kind of an abrupt ending, but wasn't really a good spot to really slice this thing up. So find out what Eugene has to think about it next week.